Shabbat Shalom. We're going to start the service this evening learning a new Nigun. A Nigun is a song without words, and remember, each neighborhood had its own syllable because whatever the rabbi liked was the syllable that he made up the song. So some were bim bam and some were boy, boy, boy. This is from the neighborhood of Yididididai, and it's a beautiful Nigun. It's called the Into the West Nigun. Comfortable? Then sing. Shabbat Shalom.
So I want to welcome all of us who are here in the sanctuary to our wonderful Shabbat experience we're going to have this evening. And those who are joining us remotely, we welcome you as well. The prayer book we're using tonight is Mishkan Tefillah. And before I go any further, I just want to remind those who are here in the sanctuary and those who are remotely joining us, you're welcome to join us anytime. For those who are concerned about COVID and wearing masks and things like that, we certainly respect everyone for keeping distance, wearing masks. And we do have sections in our sanctuary to the sides where those who want to wear masks the whole time during the service do so on the sides. Are you waving because you're doing that? Yeah, thank you. Okay. Now, one other thing is we have, I'm not exactly sure why Lainey and Sherry are standing, but they're at our welcome table in the back. You all passed them on the way in. One of the things that, if you would like to, and many of you have done this, have gone to the table, they've wished you a Shabbat Shalom, and they've asked if you want to wear a name tag on your lapel, on your blouse, and that helps those of us whose memory is going to remember who you are. So it's always nice to do that. And then we have a special treat for you tonight. So there is someone in our congregation, possibly tonight, who not only has their name on their name tag, but they have a star and an exclamation point. And that's the person who won the mega jackpot of $900 million a couple of weeks ago in Maine. So when you're in the social hall, just go up and greet people who've got their name tags and see if that's the one who won the jackpot. Okay, so with that, we invite Harriet Croman, who will light our Shabbat candles. She'll begin with the English reading on page 3, and the blessing is on page 2.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their heart. May our worship lead us to the acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Say a prayer. Yeah, good job. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, lehadlik ner, lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
We continue on page 12.
Let us continue on page 16 together. Sing praise to Adonai with lyre and melodious song, with trumpets and the blast of the horn. Raise a shout before Adonai the ruler. Let the sea and all within it thunder. The world and its inhabitants, let the rivers clap their hands. The mountains sing joyously together at the presence of Adonai. For God is coming to rule the earth. God will rule the world justly and its people with equity. We continue on page 20. Shabbat nekavela, lecha Dodi, lekhat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekavela, lecha Dodi lekhat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekavela, shamor v'zakor b'dibur echad. Shehecheyanu Aleinu Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'litila lecha Dodi lecha Dodi likrat kala v'nei Shabbat nekavela lecha Dodi likrat kala Shabbat nekabela, likrat Shabbat lehu v'neacha, ki mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshavatila,
kala, peni Shabbat mikabela. Toreri, ki va'orechu mi uri, shir daberi. Kvod Adonai alayich nigla.
Lecha, Dodi, lecha, Dodi likrat kala, peni Shabbat mikabela. Lecha, Dodi likrat kala,
Peni Shabbat mikabela. We rise to welcome Shabbat.
Bo'id shalom, ateret ba'ala, gam besimcha uvetzola, tochem
Emunei am segula.
bo'ikala, bo'ikala. Lecha, Dodi, lecha, Dodi likrat kala, peni Shabbat mikabela. Lecha, Dodi likrat kala, peni Shabbat mikabela. Please be seated. Page 22. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. With a 10-string harp, with voice and lyre together, you've gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. The righteous bloom like a date palm. This is all of us together. The righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock, in whom there is no wrong.
Adonai Malach geut lavesh, lavesh Adonai Oseh tazar, aftikon tevel batimot, nachon kisacha me'az me'olam ata, noseu neharot Adonai, noseu neharot kolam, yisu neharot dochyam. Mikolot maim rabim adirim, mishpereyam, adir bamarom, Adonai edotecha nemnu me'od, leveitecha na'ava kodesh, Adonai leorech yamim. Page 26. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shebeirah
Amen.
Me'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayecho nov yamecho u'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael bagala u'vizman kariv ve'imeru Amen. Yehi Shebeirah b'mevorach le'olam u'lam וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשא בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמה, ואמרו Amen. Please rise. ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך, המבורך לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בדברו מעריב ערבים, בחוכמה פותח שערים. God of creation, who makes the evening fall from light into darkness with the setting of the sun, you unfold the heavens with brilliant moon and stars, and wrap our souls with peace. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, בחוכמה פותח שערים. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים.
The Ahavat Olam prayer on the next page, on page 32, reminds us of God's gift to us, that of the Torah. And so the question is, what do we do with it? And so let us read together the bottom reading on page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Vaed. Please be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha ve'hayu הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching and singing together.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גא ישראל.
I was preparing this week one of our students' bar mitzvah books for April, and his Torah portion is Shemini. And in it, I was looking at the portion about the different sacrificial offerings that anyone who's known me for 30 or 40 years knows that Leviticus is not my favorite book.
Oh, come on.
And thank you, both of you.
Jinx.
So, and I was instructed by the first rabbi who mentored me in Kansas City, you shouldn't play favorites with scripture or otherwise, but I do. But in my later years, as my Torah study group knows, I've devoted a lot more time to looking at Leviticus. And there was this amazing passage I didn't realize, and that is that for one of the offerings, the Olah offering, in this particular chapter is an instruction to keep the fire on the altar burning for this sacrifice. So the priests have to get up early in the morning and make sure that fire is still burning so they can offer this sacrifice. And so it is a fire that burns eternally, as well as the Ner Tamid, which burns eternally. So what's the difference? One has the Ner Tamid has a very light flame. You know, there's a consistency in the Ner Tamid, and maybe that reflects a very solemn understanding of God's divine presence. And for the altar, it burns very hot with a great passion. And we haven't had offerings for 2,000 years, so metaphorically, what does this mean for us? And I was thinking in terms of my introduction, sorry, long introduction, for Vishamru, which is coming up next, that we should have this passionate burning for Shabbat. And not just on Friday and Saturday, because Shabbat has a name. All the other days of the week are numbered toward Shabbat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Shabbat. So they all go toward Shabbat. So it reminds me that not just on Friday, Saturday should we have this real passion for Shabbat, but also on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, we should keep that fire burning and think about all the things, the blessings we receive on Shabbat, and make them little blessings during the week as well. So when we sing, I assume we're doing Vishamru?
We are.
Okay, good. Yeah.
You did good.
Yeah. So just think about not only burning that Vishamru, that guarding Shabbat on Friday and Saturday, but think about a little flicker for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
And this is the Vishamru that you can relax during. You don't have to stand up and turn around. This is a Debbie Friedman Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם, ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי שבת, ויהי נפש.
Please rise.
That was short. Adonai S'fatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה,
אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue silently through page 62, either standing or seated.
this time in our service, we offer a special prayer of healing of body, soul, and spirit. And for those who are joining us remotely, if you have a name you want to offer for healing, you can send that to JJ or in the comments section on whatever platform is serving you for this Shabbat service. So if there's anyone in our sanctuary who has a name of someone, I'm going to ask for those names in just a moment. Of those who have been added recently to our healing list are Angie Ross, David Rod, Rachel Batsara, Jacob Newton, Lois Rich, Kathy Lynn Sabota, and Misha Hughes. If there are others, you can raise your hands and I'll put on my glasses so I can see you.
Sheldon Clare and Donna Mosier.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dana. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Andy. Thank you. She's back in the hospital? Will you talk to me afterwards? Thank you. Karen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, and Sydney and Ava.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Anyone else? And we have those who are joining us from home: Susan Kaplan, Rabbi Henry Balzer, Ruth Ann Breiter, and Shari Thurston. So our Shebeirah prayer can be found on page 253. Page 253. If it's your practice to rise physically or spiritually, you may do so for the Shebeirah. Please be seated.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This evening I'm going to talk about building a caring culture here at Kol Ami. But first, a thank you connected to my recent experience of caring. When Sarah and I decided to move here, many people told us the huge amount of great and wonderful things about Tucson. It's beautiful, there's great food, the Wildcats are the best, apart from when they're playing Washington. It's really low-key and relaxed, and all of that sounded good. But in the back of our minds, we thought that one of the ways you really know if you're in a good place is how people treat you when you're in a tough spot. Now, many, but not all of you know that my mother-in-law, Mary, died suddenly at the beginning of November, and this was swiftly followed by my planned hip operation. Now, one of these events would be difficult. Both together were a huge challenge. And the fact is that Kol Ami came through for us. Lynn Ray Lowe, just put your hand up, okay, and Harriet Cronman with the caring committee, plus many congregants, Rabbi Lockheim, Michelle Blumenberg, leading the clergy and staff. You made us food. You said, I'm looking at you, right? I can see people who made me food. You sent us thoughtful cards of love and support. These were not greeting cards where, get well soon, love so-and-so. These are really thought out, couple of paragraphs, poetic, beautiful, really, really in-depth messages to us. And so I have to say, a fervent wish as one of the rabbis of Kolami, aside from wishing these kind of things do not afflict our or anyone's family again anytime soon. If they do, I also wish that those afflicted get to experience the kindness that we experienced in their hour of need. And I'd love to see an extensive, all-pervasive culture of caring across the whole congregation, that we have the caring culture not just for rabbis and their families. Because all of us suffer bereavements and illnesses, moments when we're laid low and suffer, when we cry out, we sob, we wail, and realize we can't go through something alone. I'd rather none of us experience any of those things, but given that they are unfortunately inevitable, may we also experience the kind response of our fellow community members. And at the core of building a caring culture at Kolami is a gritty, realistic understanding of human nature. The truth is that we're caring much of the time, but we don't have unlimited reserves of patience. We have things we want to do for ourselves. We can't always, in a moment's notice, rush to someone's side. Drop everything to care for someone else, even if they are part of our congregation. In other words, the biggest challenge to building a caring culture is the messy reality that we're busy people with lots on our plate. Helping others is time-consuming and lowers our reserves of energy. We're constantly making difficult choices between our needs and others. It doesn't make us bad humans, it just makes us humans. Now, according to our tradition, God makes the same kind of choices. Rabbi Yochanan said in the Talmud, "From where is it derived that the Holy One prays? As it's stated in the book of Isaiah, I'll bring them to my holy mountain and make them joyful in the house of my prayer." From here we see that the Holy One prays. Okay, says the Talmud, that's all well and good, but if God prays, what word does God use to pray? The following suggestion is made, and I'd love to hear what you reckon. I'd love to hear some speculations from other people as well. But the rabbis tell us the following are the words of God's prayer. Yehi ratzon milfanai, sheyichbesu rachamai kasi. May my attribute of mercy overshadow my attribute of anger. In other words, God makes the same choices that we make. The Talmud's essentially saying God is merciful, but not always. God is kind, but not consistently. Sometimes God is angry, annoyed, short of patience with us, not in the mood for being caring. So every time we care for another human being, we're making the same difficult choice that God makes. Today, I'm choosing not to be angry or upset by someone in need, someone asking for help. Today, even though I could legitimately make a different choice, I'll make the choice to care for someone. In this week's very portion, God makes the choice when God hears the outcry of the Israelite slaves to step in and show caring and concern. So that's why I'm talking about building a caring culture at Kolami, not just a caring committee. If many of us do small tasks, the burden of caring for those in need will also be small. Now, our caring committee's new name is Kol Ami Cares. The name's intended to serve as a reminder all of us should make the choice to care when we can, not just a subset or designated group. I always found it strange when you say as a congregation, okay, those people over there in the corner on that committee, they're going to be the caring ones, right? And everyone else, we'll see how you do. It's got to be everyone. So Kolami Cares, our specific caring group, is built on the legacy of the work of Lynn Ray Lowe, who I mentioned before, who drove this project previously, devoting countless hours and indeed artistry to caring for others, organizing congregants in this manner. So it's important to acknowledge Lynn Ray and her devotion to communal life. Please join me in saying Yashar Koach to Lynn Ray for all of that work. Yashar Koach. Yashar Koach. There we go. That's better. That's better. So Lynn Ray will continue as an integral part of the Chevra Kaddish, the group that cares for congregants after they die, prepares them for their funeral. So she's not disappearing from this work. Now, caring in the Jewish context is not just about abstract, positive emotion. It's about organized structure as well. There are 4 main areas of Kolami Cares: meals of condolence, which are gatherings for bereaved families after the funeral service of their beloved; Heart to Heart, the program devoted to calling individuals at Kolami who could use the warmth of human contact on a regular basis; the Meal Train, which is the food offered to congregants when they return from the hospital, from surgery, or with a new baby; and lastly, greeting cards are sent to congregants for condolences, support, or congratulations. Behind the scenes, Rochelle Roth, who I know is watching today on Zoom, hi Rochelle, also works with Eileen Cook in the office to maintain an up-to-date Shebeirah or healing list so we know who needs care or help. So starting tonight, I'm asking for people to sign up for various roles within Kolami Cares. Now, I know if you're here in the room, you're like, what did I get myself into, right? Turning up on this night of all nights. It's okay, right? What?
You can't leave unless you...
No, you can't. Of course you're going to leave. Cantor Cohen, come on. But if you're moved to make that particular choice this evening, then that's great. And we're starting the process here tonight and with the people online. This is going to be an ongoing thing of building up our caring capacity. So if you're in the room, we've got Harriet and Andy with clipboards for that immediate sign-up. And Rochelle Roth is on Zoom, and with JJ's help, she's going to explain to folks watching online and get them to sign up if they wish. And the sign-up link will be on a bunch of future communications. In even wider terms, if you see a Kolami communication about Meal Train, it's the mechanism by which you can sign up to make or bring a meal to someone recently returned from the hospital or suffering bereavement, or if you just had a baby. And Meal Train in particular is a great way for the wider congregation to be involved in building a caring culture. 2 words, rhubarb crumble, okay? It's what I remember, all right, from the Meal Train that was so kindly bestowed on us. I said to a wonderful congregant, is it okay if I mention the congregant's name? Just nod if it's okay. Sherry Wallace, okay. And I said in passing, the one thing I really love beyond all other desserts is rhubarb crumble. And what appeared on my doorstep like a magic gift from heaven, it was Sherry's rhubarb crumble. Okay? I'm not signing you up to give this to everybody in the whole congregation, just to say. So once in a while, when you see Meal Train sign up on one of the Kolami communications, please help out. This work is a beautiful opportunity to mimic the choice that God makes eternally according to our tradition, to choose our attribute of compassion and mercy, even though, just like the Talmud suggests with God, we're not always in a caring mood. And by the way, beyond the formal structure of caring culture, there's also the opportunity for informal caring interactions. Every time we see someone at a service or a program looking distressed or not seeming like the best version of themselves, every time we ask someone how they're doing and they say, okay, not bad, that's the choice we make again. Do we say to ourselves that they're probably fine and move on? Or do we make the choice to check in and reply, sounds like a tough week, what's going on? I just want to mention one more group before I finish. It's the group who've stayed away from our synagogue because of COVID. I know that for many the pandemic is over, but it's not true in every case. Since masks have been optional, some of our congregation don't feel comfortable setting foot in the building. And while there are no plans to mandate masks, behooves our institution to work out what we can do to mitigate the legitimate concerns. Even simple things like spacing out or wearing one of the masks we make available at the door when approaching someone else in a mask could help. It's a wonderful opportunity to show caring along with, in the future, working to improve our air circulation and filtration. So I'll always be grateful to the congregation for the care shown to my family and I in our time of trial. It'll never be forgotten. Nevertheless, one of my tasks is to help extend the culture of caring beyond just a small subset of the shul. The Talmud reminds us that caring is difficult. It doesn't always come naturally to God or us humans. We often have to make a conscious choice, whether the choice is on the grand scale to free the Israelites from slavery or on the small scale to take a simple meal to a congregant in need. Let's make that choice as a congregation and show that to a meaningful extent, Kol Ami cares. Shabbat Shalom. I want to welcome up here to the front Benjamin Goldberg from our Board of Trustees to give us a preview of coming attractions.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you to Rabbi Thomas Lochheim, Rabbi Malcolm Cohen, Cantor Janice Cohen, and cantorial soloist Sarah Bolt for leading services this evening. Good job. I want to express my appreciation to Chris Tackett on the piano and to our tech team. Thank you to Harriet Cromman for lighting our Shabbat candles this evening. A big thank you to Lynn Ray Lowe for providing our flowers this evening in memory of her father, Sidney Cohn. Tomorrow, Torah study will take place at 8:30 a.m., followed by our Shabbat service at 10 a.m. Are you interested in joining the newly formed Kol Ami Cares Committee? Look for congregants in the side juster after services to sign up or ask questions. Our new Jewish lifelong learning classes are starting now. Check your weekly email to see the options and to register. Next Friday, join us for Refugee Shabbat as we reflect on our connection to new arrivals in our Tucson community. We will hear a story from a local Ukrainian refugee, Olena Timoshina, to get an insight into her background and experience. Then on Saturday at 10 a.m., join us when Avi Henshaw becomes a bat mitzvah. For the first weekend in February, we celebrate Shabbat Shira, the Sabbath of Song, with special guest Sam Golden and the Armand Bisman Band, an upbeat service for the whole family. Our WKA, Women of Kol Ami, will be leading a special Shabbat service on Saturday. Our Dorson Scholar in Residence Shabbaton will be an exciting weekend of activities with Torah scribe Rabbi Linda Motkin and challah baker Rabbi Jonathan Rubenstein. Be sure not to miss all the bread and Torah activities Friday through Sunday, February 10th through 12th. Please remember to return your books to the cart at the back of the sanctuary at the end of service. On behalf of the Kol Ami clergy, staff, and Board of Trustees, please stay safe and healthy. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Ben. Thank you so much. I just want to check in with the congregation. It's important not just for our healing in Kaddish, but also to think of the good things that happened in the past week. I'd love to hear 2 or 3 nuggets of positivity from our congregation, aside from the great the event, Brian and Elisa Katz are visiting us from Las Vegas, Nevada. That's a good thing. But tell us, other people, something good that happened to you. It doesn't have to be huge. Yes? Your friends are joining us from St. Louis, Missouri. I think we're going to grab coffee this week, right? Okay, good. We're going to guess. Dana? Sorry? Over 2 inches of rain, right? That's important in the desert. Yes, Chris.
I got a wonderful bonus in my paycheck.
Wonderful bonus in your paycheck. Yay, drinks are on Chris. Yes, Bradley, let's hear. Okay, fantastic to hear, Bradley, that he's recovering. So on that basis, and many more good things that happen, we're going to sing the Shehecheyanu blessing.
Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam.
you're watching from home and you'd like to add a name for Kaddish, then please do so, and JJ will funnel those names to us from the chat or the comment section. Would everyone please rise and turn to page 282 for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות ערבה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל העולם. אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, אחד.
Please be seated for a moment. Before we say Kaddish, for those who are in the sanctuary with us, you do have the opportunity to meet me down at the front of the sanctuary, take one of the stones on the table in your hand, weigh it carefully as you remember your loved one, and place it there on the table. If you'd like to do that, please meet me there now. Before we say Kaddish, we mention those who have died during the past month. Meta Van Gent, Keith Ratuyan, Jean Powell, Joyce Sattinger, Ron Feller, Edith Sobel, and Dr. Frank I. Marcus. Also, we mention those whose yahrzeits fall on this Shabbat: Clifford Bleich, Elaine Brodsky. And as I read names, if it's the name of your beloved, then please stand up wherever you are so we can acknowledge. Rava Chasin, Betty Cohen, Maurice Cohen, sorry, that's Morris Cohen, Sidney Cohn, Betty Einhorn, Rochelle Eisenberg, Lila Elkins, James Gagne, Clara Gilberg, Olga Goldfield, Stephen Goldstein, Leo Haas, Jack Hames, Leon Hardman, Barry Calpin, Abraham Kenner, Esther Kessler, Celia Klein, Jack Clensin, Milton L. Komensky, Mildred Lycan, William Levy, Bertha Levy Wexler, Joseph Martin, Janet Mays, Harry Miller, Morris Mendez, Liza Schmeil Mendez, Jeanette Moffett, Flora Moskowitz, Abe Meyerson, Joanne Mykoff, Celia Sloan Nemiroff, Sidney Nevins, Jack Nevins, Samuel Oppenheim, Jack Passon, Leo Perelmuth, Jack Phillips, Pearl Phillips, Rebecca Rakita, Sherman Rich, Anita Rotman, Carrie Rubin, May Schwimmer, Noah Skylom, Kathy Shepard, Ida Silverman, Sarah Silverstein, Henry Simrin, Gloria Small, Harvey Spivak, Lisa Swain, Eileen Teufel, Susan Toffel, Barris, Fred Toff, Alan Tratner, Hugh Treadwell, Nathan Van Vliet, Louis Weil, Max Weinman, Benjamin Weinman, Nat Zecher, Philip Zuckerman, and Morris Zuckerman. If there's anyone in the room who would like to add a name for Kaddish, hasn't been read out yet, please make yourself known to me so I can call on you. Joel Katz, and we thank you so much. Thank you, Norman Katz. Will everyone please rise to support the mourners as we recite the Kaddish on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ba'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'a v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithada v'yitale v'yithalal shemei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran ba'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen. Ve'imru, 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 amen. Ve'imru, 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 amen. We begin how we end how we began. To invite James. James, you want to come help me do the Kiddush and the Challah? Yeah. Yeah, you get to stand right here and wait until we do the Challah. Okay? Ready? Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotov ve'atzavanu ve'shabbat kodsho ve'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemaseh ve'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh Zecher letziat Mitzrayim Kivanu good stuff.
Hamotzi lechem in haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together, as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you,
Shabbat
James.
Shalom.